Hello, this is Compound Interest Stock Guy, and today we're going to be talking about Hexo's quarterly revenue, and we're going to be talking about international cannabis in their Colombia asset that they just acquired, and we're going to be talking about how Tilray just put more money into Interspirit's Till so they can just grow their business. So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell down below, give me a thumbs up. I do truly appreciate it. I also want to disclose I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment information purposes. Do not buy or sell based on anything I talk about in this video. Buy or sell after you did your research, your due diligence, and you like the investment you're pursuing. So yeah, before we get into this, I'm gonna just be talking about kind of a little bit about my life going on right now, and I'm just gonna talk about Twitter and this YouTube channel that I've been watching. So I'm gonna get to the Hexo eventually, so you guys can like skip through if you're not interested in that stuff. But I am going to talk about it in a bit. This is a little rock thingy. It's like, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's something I like. Just wanted to share it with you guys. Um, yeah, so Twitter, I'm growing my Twitter. I got 65 followers, talking with a lot of people on Twitter. It's pretty cool. Twitter's pretty active. There's like some pretty big people. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Talk to some people on there. It's a good place to kind of get information. There's always like some people just sharing news. So it's pretty much like the fastest place sometimes to get news. I mean, you can go to Marijuana Index or some other places and get news fast, but I find Twitter's pretty effective for getting news. Um, this is a channel I've just been watching because if you watch my previous videos, I've been talking about how I sold my place and I'm moving out within about a week. Yeah, pretty much exactly a week. So I'm just kind of like gonna go camping and I'm putting my stuff in storage and then I'll figure out stuff later. Like I got jobs where I work around BC and Alberta, so I'm not too worried about things really, but it is a little bit confusing and it's a little bit stressful with packing and stuff because some of these I don't know if anybody's ever put stuff in storage. If you have, comment down below. Tell me what kind of room storage locker you got. Like if you got like a 7x10 or you got a 10x10 or 20x8 or whatever. Like just let me know your experience. Yeah, so it's kind of confusing because I want to get about a 10x10 and a 7x10. I think that's going to be enough for all my stuff. And then but the 7x10 I want it to be heated so that it's good for my electronics. And but this guy, he talks about camping. Like this guy's like he was like he's in like Ontario. I think he's in northern Ontario, and he just built this cabin all by himself, and he like does everything by hand, and that's his dog. And the guy's pretty incredible. He's like a trades worker, but then he turned into finance, and then he just was like, F it, I'm sick of living near everybody else. I just want to live in wilderness, and he built this facility. So he's got one of the movies, like one of the things is like it's like so popular, and it has like 3 million views, and it's just like an hour. It's over an hour long. It's talking about how he like it's just videotaping him building the house and like just with his dog and just different experiences that he's doing, but it's pretty intense. Um, I just kind of been watching a bit of camping videos just to kind of learn a bit of stuff because I'm not a camping expert. I'm straight up not a camping expert, so I'm gonna be camping for a bit. I mean, I might get a job within like a week after I move or something, but I will be camping a little bit this summer for sure when if I'm not working. So, and then I might find a place somewhere. I'm not really sure, but basically like I need to be prepared to like be self-sustainable kind of like at a campground. I mean, I'm gonna have dry food as well, but I want to just be able to keep myself warm and you know have a good time out there. So I'm just learning stuff on camping. But anyways, let's get into this Hexo report. Okay, so this came out yesterday, and as well, there's a conference call this morning. I'm not sure exactly the time. I'm probably gonna be possibly, I'm not gonna say for sure, but there's a good chance that I'm gonna be videotaping it. So just check my channel, like subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified when I do upload that. I do plan on doing that. But I'm not going to be certain if I get it because some things come up, right? But yeah, so it's just kind of talking about they've seen like they're going to be a really big packaged goods company, and they want to do 400 million in 2020, and they got 65 million recently by I think it was BMO and another bank, and they say they have capacity for 150,000 kgs, and they're also got a Hexo USA that's just started, so that will be with hemp and CBD stuff, and then eventually as legalization gets closer, they want to be a dominant force in the USA. So it's good that they're on the NYSE because they're going to attract a lot of capital, and moving forward, I mean, there's a good chance, not for sure, but they could get a big player to invest $1 billion. They already have Coors as their partner, but that's just like I don't know. They just fund it, and then they're making drinks with it. They both put in I think like 50 million or something like that, and it's a company called Trust, and they're gonna have some pretty good edible beverages once legalization 2.0 comes on. But what that will happen is that uh, October 17th is when it's supposed to happen, but then you need to have 60 days to get approved for every product. So you're not going to really be seeing any of the products till late December, January, February, to be honest. I mean, you're probably not going to see any of your shatter, your wax, your vape cartridges that with CBD, and well, maybe the CBD ones, maybe that's already out. No, it's probably not going to be out till a while. But I mean, your edibles and different things that are coming online. So you're not going to see a lot of that till 2020. Gross cannabis revenue was 15 million at 15.9 million, and but then you minus the excise taxes, and they did 12.96 million, and they see their gross margin is 6.4 million, and they say before fair value adjustments, so that's before their biological assets and stuff, and then their gross margin is 21.83, so that's adding up all the just their products that the stuff that hasn't been into a container. I think that's what it counts for, and they did a loss of operations of 2.2 million, and other income expenses 5.5 million, and they did a net loss of 7.75 million. So that's not terrible. That's not terrible. A net loss. It's not terrible because when you got just after you did a big loss, Tilray did a pretty big loss, I think. But I mean, compared to Canopy and Aurora really did big losses. So I mean, it's not really that bad. Their total gross revenue is in excess of 11.84 of their year prior. So they're really growing the business. I mean, they weren't doing much revenue up until a few quarters ago. So they're slowly growing into becoming a big player. They were only doing like a 1 million a year ago or something like that, and now they're doing 15, 16 million minus the excise taxes. But they want to be on a scale of around 100 million per quarter. And mind you, net that they acquired New Strike brands, that they're not, those revenues aren't added onto the revenues. So there's, who's to say what the revenues for HIP were? I mean, HIP did, I think, like 3.6 million. So there's a good chance that HIP did maybe 4 or 6 million. There's a good chance that they did 4 to 7 million or so. So actually, they did it last quarter. I think they did like 4.7 million actually. But there's a chance like next quarter could be like around like 7 or 10 million. So if you add it, then it's gonna be somewhere around like 20 to 23 million. So that's close to what Tilray is kind of doing. So, and it's more than what CannTrust is doing. So it's putting them in a like an upper echelon of the cannabis players in Canada. Uh, there's another news actually that their grease something to do with their grease got a license or something. So I gotta read that more. So I can't really include this in knowing exactly what it was, but they're moving in the right direction. So they said their loss decreased 68% Q over Q, which what I was saying, it wasn't too bad. And that's exactly it. And it's good that they're doing a lower burn rate. It's really good because eventually these companies will run out of capital if they're continuously doing for like 3 years on end, and they don't get a big cash injection by a big player. They're not going to be able to really sustain themselves. They're going to have to dilute further. It's just not the way the company wants to go. The best companies in space are companies such as Truly, for C-Web, who are doing profits. And then you got even Grow Generations. I got a few shares of them, and they did 0.3 million, and even Meta's pretty close to being profitable. So there's just different companies that that are getting close to profitability as well. But there's only a really small handful, such as like Village Farms was profitable last quarter. But yeah, adult use grams and grams equivalent sold increased 9% to 27.59 kilograms. So they sold 2759 kilograms, and they produced 9,804 kilograms. So what they're doing with all those extra kilograms, I'm about like 95% certain, which is happening, is they're putting that into edibles, and they're putting it into infused beverages, and they're doing all that research and development as well as building that, and they're putting it into oils. They have partners. I think they have Valens, and they also have Neptune now. So I think, I'm not 100% certain, but they do have oil, and they do it themselves as well. So they are putting the stuff into oil. They do have a pretty good lineup of oils, and they also want to be a topical cream company. And I mean, HIP's really good with consumer packaged goods because they got a really nice lineup. I have a video with Neil Brothers, and I even got a video talking about like what they have. But now that Hexo owns them, that they get all that assets that they can use in the future quarters, and they want to do gel cap. They already have gel capsules. They have like decarboxylation, and they give you these capsules, and then you can put in the cannabis. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I did talk to the medical the lady on the phone, and she was telling me about that, and I've heard about the decarb, and I just want to learn more about it. But it's not, it's nicer if it's already made, because I like that Aurora and CannTrust have gel capsules that are already made, and even Canopy and MedRelief, and there's going to be more. There's going to be more. I think Emerald's got some capsules, or they're coming pretty soon. So they have 822 employees as of April 30th, and the previous quarter was 374. So they're really ramping up their staffing. And then they also acquired an additional 250 from New Strike, so they're already over 1,000 employees, it seems. So they say they have cash and equivalents, and short-term investments of 173 million, and then working capital of 219 million. So that's very, very attractive. I mean, it's not at the same echelon that Kronos or Canopy has, but it's a good cash position. So yeah, they a jointly credit facility by CIBC and BMO. Yeah, so their medical sales were pretty small. They were only they increased it by 7% to 1.3 million. So they're not selling a lot of medical cannabis. I think there's companies that sell a lot more than Hexo does. But I mean, it could grow a lot. So cost of sales for the quarter were 6.6 million compared to 479,000 a year ago. So, and it's also talking about transformation costs from other value-added products. Fair value adjustment was 4.6 million compared to 572 a year ago. I'm not gonna read every little bit, but I want to get the gist of it. G&A, general and administration expenses increased to 10.5 million compared to 2 million a year ago. Generally, from the growing scale of their operations and increase in general finance and administration staff, and their new rental space in their Belleville location. Yeah, I think they have it's a Belleville location. I believe that's in Ontario. So they have to pay more money to increase property, plant, and equipment balances, and it costs money to list on the NYSE. So they believe that their G&A will increase in the next quarter, completes and operationalizes its current expansion projects over the remaining quarter of the fiscal year. R&D expenses are expected to significantly increase in the final quarter, significantly escalate in 2020 as the company executes, and their marketing went up, and their promotion went up to 5.1 million compared to a 2.1 million a year ago. Stock-based compensation increased a lot by to 8.16 million to compared to 783,000 from a year ago. Oh. They say their stock-based compensation for the 9 months increased to 17.8 million compared to 3 million from a year ago for those 9 months. Loss from operations. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna be trying to do the conference call, so stay tuned for that. I'm not gonna do it live. No, I mean, if I had more followers and more people knew about my channel, then there would be like 15 or 20 people that would show up to my lives. Then I would go live. But I mean, again, I'm gonna be busy with stuff. I'm not gonna be posting much in the next month or two, but I will post a little bit. I just got my iPhone fixed. I'm thinking about getting a lavalier mic, so that'll be good. Yeah, so might be doing some videos just out and about, and just kind of talking about the cannabis industry. I gotta get like a selfie stick, or I don't know, like a little tripod for a phone. So this is ICC, ticker WRLD, and this is the company that Wayland is working with. Grupo Pharma controls 75% of an existing pharmacy operation in Colombia. So, World is acquiring a definitive agreement to acquire 100% of Grupo Pharma. So, which is essentially located of approximately 128,000 consumers within a 9 square mile, and it has a top tourist destination, benefits from influx of approximately 50,000 annual visitors. So this is their second flagship brick and mortar pharmacy operation, with 8 capital locations expected to be secured and retrofitted by the end of 2019. So that's good to know. Patented. So they're going to address priority medical conditions by combining patented delivery systems and technologies such as the VesiSorb technology, which is like world renowned. It's used in lots of products. Big pharmacy companies use it. Patented delivery systems and technologies, extensive consumer product goods and brand product market entrance experience, global scientific expertise, and comprehensive doctor detailing and educational campaigns. They have established a strong presence, and they're servicing the local populace of the Antioquia region of northwest Colombia. Is home to approximately 6.6 million inhabitants. So they're equipped with retail, wholesale, and online distribution channels, and boast the following industry accolades: top 10 individual sales location in all of Antioquia, top 10 vendor of Abbott, YL Franco, and Kupi Drogas Pharmaceutical. Abbott. I wonder if that's directed with the big Abbott. I think that's a big pharmaceutical company. So that's good to know. It's a top 10 vendor. Over 2,000 unique SKUs on offer, and a referral network of 400 certified medical professionals, and 30-minute in-house pharmaceutical delivery and medical visit outreach infrastructure. 30-minute in-house pharmaceutical delivery. Interesting. Relationship with major pharmaceutical brands. So they intend to increase market penetration in the Antioquia region. So ICC's Colombian genetics portfolio consists of 20 unique strains of THC and CBD, such as Coquena, Purpura, Medellin Gold, and Maroc. As both the World Health Organization and many countries around the globe favor medical use of CBD dominant and CBD derived health and wellness products, the demand for high yield CBD strains is expected to increase. So yeah, what they want to do for Colombia, they have an outdoor grow, and they have a facility, but it's not licensed, I don't think, or they haven't started growing yet. Is they want to grow high CBD strains of cannabis, and then they can create that into oils and then get that penetrated through these pharmacies. So I mean, I'm not an expert on the Colombia legislature or anything like that. It's pretty confusing, I think, but there's these kind of relationships it's almost this could be like a smaller version of Shoppers Drug Mart, in Colombia that they decided to own. So I mean, Aurora and Canopy, they can't own Shoppers Drug Mart or PharmaSafe, but by owning the pharmacies, that gives them like a lot of leverage, so that they can, they kind of own the assets, that they own the distribution channels. And the distribution channels, because legalization across the globe is around like $10 billion right now, and within like 10 to 15 years it could be $1 trillion. So it's 1,000 billion, so that could be 250 times the growth story in 10 to 15 years. So by buying these assets when it's really not expensive right now, that this can give them a lot of leverage down the road when a big company wants to buy them out or something like that. They have all these assets. So I like what they're doing. I mean, their share structure is pretty high, but their share price is really low. So if you're buying the stock, it's like 20 cents. It's like at a 52-week low. They got the deal with Wayland and Wayland, and they got the assets for the uh, German facility, and they got 3 lots for EU GMP, and just for the 3 lots for 2020. So that's 600 kgs with the German government that they got to deal with. So I mean, that's pretty good. It's just, I mean, and that's just a minimum. It could be more. So I hope they do really good in 2020. So it's talking about their downstream Latin American capabilities by securing a turnkey solution to establish a baseline presence within Colombian spurgeon and medical cannabis and health and wellness verticals, in conjunction with our driven Latin American expansion plans. And it's including their European distribution footprint of 80,000 pharmacies and retail endpoints to market premium cannabis. And ICC is going to issue this Grupo Pharma 15 million common shares, and when issued, when 50% of the closing payment shares will be subject to a hold period of 6 months from the date of issue, and the remaining 50% payment shares will be subject to a hold period of 12 months from the date of issuance. The company will also pay $230,000, and there's a finder's fee. So that's what the board of directors, David Spilt says. So that's pretty cool. These are early days in the global cannabis industry, so I really hope they are successful in this. I do own shares in Wayland. I don't own shares in WRLD, but I will be getting shares in WRLD because Wayland spun out their global assets to WRLD. So I really hope this company does well. I will not be selling. Wayland should be resuming trading when they release their financials today or tomorrow, and then they have to release their Q2 as well. And their Q2 shouldn't be too bad. I think it should be around like 2.3 or 2.5 million. Excuse me. So, but going forward with Wayland, at the end of this year, they're supposed to be really hitting the milestone where they got growing a lot of cannabis, and a lot of it's just gonna go over to Europe. They got to deal with RavenQuest to supply the rec market, so they have like all these channels. So I really hope things like come into synergy, and Wayland like just gets a better name around the cannabis industry, because it's had a bad name for a long time. But we'll see. Like that, I love the kind of global things that they're doing. I mean, if you've seen that some of these videos, there's a video of Wayland. They have a Hexo facility, and they're doing vape cartridges in there, like CBD vape cartridges in there, and they're gonna have a store eventually in Switzerland. So I like the direction. If they can really capture the global market, they'll be making good money. But again, we'll see. Inner Spirit announces additional equity investment by Tilray in High Park. So I recently I've been trying to catch the bottom on Tilray for a little bit. Like I don't buy the shares. I've been doing call options, uh, and they were short-term durations, and I kind of get cucked. It's just kind of like getting fooled. That's like okay. So Tilray, I bought it when it was like around like 38 something, and I bought like a $39 call, or maybe it's like 37 something, and I bought a $39 call for only 1 week, and then it went up to 38. It was like down to like 34.50 last week, and then on Friday it went up 15 or 9% or something like that, and it went up to 38.80. And so it was shy of my call option, and so I was like, if it goes up 9%, like couldn't you go up 15% and go to like 42, and then I could have doubled my money on my $100? No, so I got cucked. But what I did is I'm looking a little more long term. I'm buying I've already bought two $60 strikes for September 20th, and I paid an average of about like $170 US for each call. And so the way I'm thinking is that there's a good chance that Tilray can hit $75 to $100 before September. So those will like anywhere from like 6 to, I don't know, like 15 times X my money, or even more. Like if Tilray goes on a crazy run to $125 or $150. So nobody's really thinking about Tilray. I hope they don't go lower, but I mean, if they do go lower, if they go to like $20 or something like that, I might just pick up like a $35 strike for September, or 40. I eventually I'm gonna I mean, maybe I'm just pissing away money trying to do this, but I just think when you look at Beyond going crazy, and there's a lot of effing money going into Tilray, straight up. There's a lot of money going into Tilray. I look at the cannabis revenue, new cannabis, and then you go into the global cannabis index, and Tilray is the number 2 company that for value of money that's going into the company. So they traded 1.5 million shares, and that's like $69 million yesterday, in US dollars, and or Canadian, I think that is. And then Canopy was like 81 million. So, and they're number 2, so they're getting more money going through their shares through the trading than Aurora and Kron. So it's getting a lot of money funneled into it. So one of these, and so they did the offloading. Well, it's like a merger of privateer holdings, and they're gonna slowly release it because there's only about like 3.5% interest from institutions in Tilray, but it should be going up in the next year. So, but it's gonna be like slowly released so that institutions and their partners, or their high investor friends can buy more stock on the open market, and then I think eventually it's going to take off. But I just think that September, because that's going to be running into the hype of legalization 2.0, and so I'm I'm hoping I mean, maybe I won't make any money on that, and that's the risk I'm willing to take. But I think for the risk reward profile, it hits it. So, but they're doing Inner Spirit. They're giving 1.5 million, and this was a long time ago, but they just like gave the money because Tilray's pretty rich in cash. They got like 200 and something $million in cash, and that's in US dollars too. So if they put money into Inner Spirit, they're gonna have better brand preference. Like it'll be in better areas. I mean, they're just gonna get preference. That's why all these companies, Aurora and Aphria and Zenabis and Oxley and other companies, they give money to these retail stores in Canada because they're gonna get preferential treatment. I mean, I don't know if that's like legit, but that's gonna happen. So anyways, that's pretty much what I had to say. I'm not sure I'm gonna try to do this Hexo video on conference call when it's coming up, and I hope you like the video. Give me thumbs up and subscribe, and until next time, peace. Whoa.